Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Frank's Corner. Let's get back into the Iran war, the illegal war of Donald Trump, illegal war number 9 or 8 or however many he's had. I think he said this is eighth or ninth war so far. It's funny. I looked at a meme that President Trump and J.D. Vance put together. They were saying President Trump will be the president of peace and prosperity. And Donald Trump and the different segments says he's going to be the president of peace and he won't start World War III and all this good stuff. But look at what's going on right now. So, a few weeks into the Iran war, I believe 14 dead of our American soldiers and hundreds injured and some pretty severely. And, you know, they're planning on putting 2,500 boots on the ground in Iran. This is kind of like Vietnam. You know, in Vietnam, we put, boots on the ground, 3,500 to begin with. And then it became a full-fledged, all-out, we're drafting people and sending you to war. But, I was thinking the other day, I'm trying to figure out what the issue is with the Republican presidents. If we start with Bush Jr., the war, go back to Nixon. Nixon was a president. You remember this, Watergate, and all the stuff that happened with him. Flash forward to today, Donald Trump, biggest liar in God's history, biggest thief in God's history, robs our country blind on a daily basis. He's just another Nixon, which we have to get out of office and handle right after that. But, here we are again. We're in the Iran war, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse. So Donald Trump made a comment, which is funny. Someone asked him how did he know when it's going to be, when things are going to be to his liking. He says, "Oh, I'll feel it." So now we're going to be in war on somebody's hunch. I got a hunch that I'll have a hunch to know when we're going to finish. He don't like the terms right now, and it's kind of funny. I was listening to I got some news shared with me from Thailand, and Iran has said, quote unquote, they will make the barrel of oil go up over $200 a barrel as punishment for messing with this country. So now let's dig into the meat. Back when Obama was president, he signed a nuclear deal with Iran, so they weren't looking for nuclear warheads. Donald Trump got in the office and he was jealous of that, so he tore it up. Now Donald Trump decided, hey, guess what? I'm going to go attack Iran like I did Venezuela. I'm going to get in there, get out, and it'll all be done. Well, he got in there, he ain't got out, and it ain't all done. And then Iran is getting assistance from Russia. Now, in the same point, Russia is giving Iran information to attack us, and at the same time, Trump is kissing Vladimir Putin's dick and lifting sanctions on their oil so he can make money. And what you do just find this a bit fucking crazy? Because I find this a bit crazy. It's insane. And all the other countries are saying we shouldn't be lifting embargoes on Russia. But Trump is screwed because Putin has the goods on him. Let's get down to the basic brass fucking ball tacks here. Putin was working with Epstein. Epstein gave Putin all the shit that he needed on these rich Americans. Donald Trump is included in that. So now Donald Trump, he's not going to piss off Putin too bad because Putin could put all that information out. I'm hoping that the people that hacked the DOJ in 2023 and got all those Epstein files unredacted. I'm hoping they put them out. The best thing that they could do is put that stuff out on the web. Unredacted, I'm sorry, I know victims are going to be named in that, but unredacted till you can see whoever was involved, how they were involved, and what went on. You know, from them talking as Trump and Trump messing with them and raping them young girls and them killing people and burying them somewhere and then eating their flesh. Come on. What kind of crazy stuff is this? So what Trump and them are pedophile, murderous cannibals is what they are in general. But hey, what do I know? I'm just old. But you know, it's this war is not really going to go away. This is the scenario. I'll try to explain it to you. Trump has no way out besides going forward with the war. Because if he just, backs out right now, they've shut down the Strait of Hormuz over there. No oil's coming through. But if Trump backs out right now, he's going to look weak. We're going to look weak. So there's no really good way to come out of this war. At least not for the United States, because we're supposed to be bad people, bad. Our military is supposed to be the best going. Yet we're being shut down by Iran. Isn't that funny? Other countries have shucked off dealing with the United States. Canada's not going to do it. France ain't going to do it. Nobody's going to come in and help us like he says they're going to, because he's lying. Trump's always lying. What they're doing now is making deals with Iran themselves just so they can get their oil. Because they control that strait and nothing gets through it without their permission. And then Trump says they're going to escort stuff out. Trump lies too. Trump's nothing but he's one of the biggest liars, probably walking God's green earth. He's talking about all this shit. But, I just want to go through, the things that's happening with it. It's just, we really have no way out without going into full-fledged war. We just don't have no way out. Trump is stupid. Hegseth is stupid. Hegseth's probably the stupidest motherfucker walking God's green earth. Oh, don't take an unflattering picture of me. I'm going to be upset. Bet you're ugly motherfucker anyway. I don't care. You're as ugly as fucking Trump. I understand why Trump had to fucking go buy him some pussy. I'm sorry. Let's just be point blank about it. I know he had to buy him. He's an ugly motherfucker with a dick that's probably about this big. That's pretty much what it is. But anyway, so, we're stuck. As, Trump fires Trump fired his secretary, put her in some job, something about S.H.I.E.L.D. Now he's made up a Marvel Comics department in the United States that don't exist, at least only exist in title right now. The Department of American S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. Does sound like some Marvel comic stuff, but of course she just got pissed off and made some comments about Trump to herself. But she's in trouble because she spent $220 million, advertising herself. It's pretty much what she did. And, that's it. Pam Bondi's next on the hit list. All she can do is get up there in line. It's kind of like that. All the Trump people get up there in line. But, I'm going to get on the personal side. I have this uncle that he is a Trumpster. I mean, he's about as big of a Trumpster as ever walking God's green earth. And there's this psychiatrist that put out the problem with Trumpsters. And he goes through the different phases of Trumpsters and why they will not leave that party. And, it all boils down to, though, in the end, if they leave the party, they have to admit they were wrong, and they don't want to admit they were wrong. So they continue to follow some child molesting, adulterous con man that's stealing billions from the country because they don't want to admit they're wrong. Even if you put all the truth down, their final comment, most Trumpsters' final comment, I guarantee you, is this. Well, it's better than Biden. Well, it's not better than Biden. Biden, his job reports was about 230,000 jobs per month that were being added to the economy. And Donald Trump's job reports is a negative 92,000 jobs leave in the country per month. There's a big difference between the two. In one of those presidencies, there's enough jobs you can go out and find a job. In the other presidency, there's just flat no jobs, and the people are starting to fire more people, so we're getting less jobs. And what do you think is going to happen, to us as a whole when we can't find a job? You can't pay your bills. You don't know what to do. What do you think is going to happen in a whole? Of course, these Trumpsters, no matter how bad it gets, well, at least it's better than Biden. You know, I just, I just don't get it. It's fascinating. It is fascinating. In the mind of Trumpsters is a fascinating thing. I could sit and read uh, tons of exchanges with my uncle. I mean, tons of them, and he's so uneducated and so much of a Trumpster. It really is. I'm the one that's blind. I should read my Bible. Well, I do read the Bible. And, God says, love thy neighbor as thyself. God also said, to love the immigrant as you yourself were an immigrant. So I'm reading the Bible. I just don't know what Bible they're reading. Apparently, it's a different Bible than mine. And then, well, God put Trump in place. No, God did not. God would never support a crook like Trump. It's just how it is. I mean, I guess people could say that, it'd be kind of hard to say it, but I guess people could say that, yeah, they're going to support Trump. They're going to do what they can to help Trump out. I can't support Trump. I never can. And he keeps trying to convince me, well, you're watching the wrong news. Well, okay. I listen to a group of people called Legal AF, and it's just a bunch of lawyers giving their opinion about what's going on and what's illegal, what's legal, what's not legal, what Trump is doing that's illegal, which is a lot. I don't quite understand what everybody thinks, but Trump, he does a lot of illegal stuff. If you think that Republicans are popular right now, figure it like this: Democrats have overturned some strongly held Republican seats here recently. For about 90% of all the races going on, it went to the Democrats. That will tell you that even Republicans are tired of the stuff that's going on with these mega people. Not all Republicans are mega. I need to make you understand that. Not all Republicans are mega. Mega is a breed of its own. And mega is Trump. You know, and their belief is, in my mind, their belief is, I'm going to destroy the United States of America as fast as I can. And trust me, they are doing that. Most of our Middle East allies have been attacked. Our military bases in the Middle East have been attacked by Iran, which is actually our Middle East allies where we have our bases. And Iran has pretty much said they ain't going to put up with it anymore. They're not going to let any oil out until all American bases are closed in the Middle East. Again, Trump, he ain't got no choice. He's in checkmate now. So what he's got to do here's what he's got to do. He's got to put boots on the ground. And then he's got to put more boots on the ground. And then he's got to put more boots on the ground. And what we'll end up being in another Vietnam. This will be another Vietnam. And then Trump's got to hope, I mean hope, that we actually can win. But I don't see that because we didn't win Vietnam. Think about it. We lost Vietnam. We came out. We had to tuck our heads between our legs from Vietnam. We're fighting somebody that knows their terrain and their country inside and out. Well, we're doing the same thing in the Middle East right now. And, Middle East, those people are going to fight till they're dead. They don't care. They believe that strongly in it. And there were a bunch of people that had the I want to be democracy, American dream going on. Trump has crushed that. And then, we had the school that got bombed over there with 130 girls in it, girls' school that maybe 10, 15 years ago was a military outpost, but it had changed and they made it a girls' school. And girls getting an education over there is dangerous for the girls to begin with. It is a very dangerous thing because of the way they look at women. But there was a school that all these girls are trying to get an education and go somewhere. Well, Trump hit it with Tomahawk missile and blew it up. So all those kids are dead. And then, Trump said somebody else did it. This was his first statement. Oh, well, Tomahawk missiles, other people got Tomahawk missiles. Well, yeah, that is true. Our allies have Tomahawk missiles, but none of our allies are over there helping us right now. It's just us. Or Iran got one of our Tomahawk missiles. No, that's not the case. They did not do no such a thing. You had outdated intel and you blew up a girls' school and killed everybody in it. So it's our fault. But then again, the last time he was asked this question about that, he says, "Oh, I didn't know nothing about it." So this dude goes from lie to lie to lie to lie. Honestly, he just lies, 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 and lies. And I'm fascinated that the people haven't caught on. No Trumpsters caught on, anyways. You know, and that's kind of, I guess, funny. And even if Trumpsters catch on, and again, I got to say this again, they will never admit they're wrong because everything that they believe in with Donald Trump, and that's pretty much what it is, everything they believe in is wrapped up in Donald Trump. So they will never admit they're wrong. And even in the end, when Trump is persecuted, arrested, thrown in prison, which I keep hoping is going to happen at the end of all this, but even at the end of all of that, when it's all said and done with, they'll still not admit that they were wrong. They'll point the finger at somebody else. That's just how it is. They're going to point the finger at somebody else. It's not going to make any difference. Biden did it. For a matter of fact, they blame Biden for stuff that's going on right now. President Trump's been there over a year, and they're still pointing the finger at Biden. Biden's not even in office. And my uncle is so jealous of Biden. I'm not even sure why he's so jealous of Biden. But every time he talks, he's bringing in Biden. And I'm thinking, but Biden's not the president. Donald Trump is. So how's Biden affecting anything? Think about this. How's Biden affecting anything? He's not the president. We have the damn orange fucking pumpkin as the president right now. So again, I'm fascinated with it. So, well, let's, check off the points. We are in an illegal war. The war is against, it's against it's against the law. It's against the national law. It's against things that we set up after the invasion of Germany. When Germany crossed and started invading other countries, we formed NATO and we made laws. So you can attack a sovereign country, no matter who's running that country, whether you like them or you don't like them, has nothing to do with it. So now we are talking about NATO laws, and now we're war criminals. I mean, we were war criminals when we went into Venezuela just to steal a president. So they could get the president over here and say, hey, we're either going to kill you or you're going to sit there and say that you helped Biden rig the election because Trump really won it. This is how pathetic this is how pathetic that the Trump regime is. They're just that pathetic. Did Venezuela help Biden win the election? Hell no. Did Russia interfere with the elections here? Hell yes. And they do it all the time with Trump's blessing. Let's get realistic with Trump's blessing. And again, he don't want to piss off. Let's connect some dots. I don't remember if I connected the dots, but I'll just connect it again. If I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But here's the way things go. Epstein was buddies with Putin and buddies with Trump. Epstein was working with Putin, though. The idea of this was to get as much dirt as he could on the elite people here and give it back to Putin. I think Trump sucks Putin's dick because Putin has the real goods on it. because whatever Epstein gathered, Trump got a hold of it. And I think Trump knows that if Putin wanted to bring him down and cripple him, he could. But let's be realistic. If all of this came out, if you had a video in your face playing where Donald Trump is taking that tiny pee-pee of his and raping some underage girl, Trumpsters would deny it, even if it's there. Even if you had the proof, they will deny it. They will deny, lie, deflect, whatever they have to do, and not believe it, even if you had the proof. This is how seriously mental Trumpsters are. They just don't see the truth. And if the truth is out there, the last comment will be, well, it's better than Biden. And I don't really see this as better than Biden. We have had 9 negative job reports come out. And it's oddly enough, all 9 negative were during Trump's point 1.0 and Trump 2.0. So all in the Trump administration. This guy is not smart. He's not a businessman. What he's doing right now, though, oh, it's not business. It's the con. I'm going to run the con, and I'm going to give myself billions of dollars of the taxpayers' money. And of course, my Trumpster followers won't say a damn thing, and the Republicans won't say a damn thing because they're all scared of me. I don't even know what the hell you got to be scared of with that orange pumpkin. Man, just fucking thump him with your fucking finger and he'll fall over crying. That's the truth. I mean, just go up there and go, and I guarantee you his ass will start bawling. Because he's just not that bad. You know, he's a narcissist. This is a fact. He is a narcissist. Everything about him is a narcissist. If you're not praising him, you're gone. And someone said, what was it? Naomi's problem was all of her videos pretty much put her up on the pedestal with a little bit of shots of Trump. And Trump couldn't have that. Trump needs to be up there on the top, period. So, well, she's been fired, and they're trying to get somebody else to take her place. And, you know, the biggest issue with Democrats here, and I'm going to say this again, is they're not united enough even now. And they want to know why people don't want to support them. They're not united. They don't have a united front. This is the fact. You know, a lot of them are united, but you still have the scragglers, and they're probably the ones Trump's pad in their pocket, too. They got the Democratic title, but they're probably crooked as hell. You know, because they're, oh, well, I'm not going to impeach Trump. I saw that vote go through, and a lot of Democrats didn't either vote or said no. We're not going to impeach Trump. That's because they're a traitor to their own party. You know, should Trump be impeached? Yes. Should Trump be arrested? Yes. Should his ass go to jail for a long time? Yes. This is yes. Excess should be arrested too and thrown under the jail. Bondi should be arrested and thrown under the jail. Naomi should be arrested and thrown under the jail. All these people should be arrested. Well, I mean, you got to worry about Naomi anymore because she's got this job at S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's a high-paying job. Although I still don't know what S.H.I.E.L.D. is. Again, sounds like the Marvel Comics. It's kind of funny because they've been using like Grand Theft Auto and different Call of Duty videos in their campaigns. So apparently they're definitely video fans. So, you know, why not? Why not take the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and let's just make a department for that? You know, I don't know what their goal is here. I mean, whatever their goal really was with Iran, it's backfired on them. And now they have no friends. None of the allies can help them. They turned their back on the ones they said they would help in the Middle East. And now they realize, hey, we're on our own. Trump's a liar. He's not going to come over and help us. He's a liar. Hegseth is a liar. Of course, we should know Hegseth's a liar too. But that's the thing. I don't understand why people think that these people are good. They're not good. They're not. You know, and someone can say, oh, well, or kind of like my uncle said, you're not watching the right news. You need to watch Fox. Yeah, I need to watch the news. People who've admitted in court they're for entertainment purposes only, and that Donald Trump controls Understand this is just like Russia, where Putin controls the news media, North Korea, where Kim Jong Un controls the media, China, where they control the media. So, yes, let's go ahead and watch the media controlled by the state, by the government, so they can tell you what's right and what's wrong. Most of the time, they're going to be lying. Donald Trump lies every day. So, if it's coming out on Fox, it's probably a lie. You know, there's been a few news stories here recently where Fox actually told the truth. They probably got in trouble from Trump after they did, though. You know, when somebody sets down the brass taxes. So, what are we spending right now on the war daily? Okay, on the military side, $1 to $2 billion a day. Keep this up because apparently, you know, Donald Trump and them aren't raising our deficit or anything. But across the whole, we're losing several $1 billion a day because gas costs have gone crazy. You think about this time last week before all this started, my gas price was pretty decent. It's about the only thing I could give Trump. It was about $2.29 a gallon. You know, although I know he don't control gas prices because he doesn't. If you could sit there and if he could sit there and say I got gas prices down, you couldn't argue with him because gas prices were down. So, but right now, that's $3.40 a gallon. So it's up $1.20 so far. And if Iran does what they're saying they're going to do, you're going to see $8 a gallon gas really quick. So all of you Trump supporters, hey, fuck you. I hope you enjoy paying $8 a gallon gas. I know I'm not going to, but I didn't vote for that shit. So I'm just a victim of yours. I'm a fucking victim in your bullshit. But if you have to pay it, hey, you deserve it. The rest of us don't. So the rest of us should get a goddamn tax break on gasoline because we didn't support Trump and his stupidity. That's at least my opinion. I don't know. You know, I have this thing. You know, no, I'm not the smartest in the world. I'm just not. You know, nobody is to me. You know, we all have our problems and flaws. I'm educated enough to see through Trump's bullshit, though. I'm educated enough to see through the Republicans' bullshit, J.D. Vance's bullshit, Naomi's bullshit, you know, Bondi's bullshit. I can see through all of their bullshit. You know, and you know, right now, the Republicans are trying to get this, stay off of saying anything about immigration because they've lost a big chunk of the Hispanic vote because of their immigration policies. You know, but hey, you know, anybody who thinks that their immigration policies were sound, they're fucking stupid. And then the murdering of 3 U.S. citizens, one's not really talked about much, but you know, you have Alex that talked about that. You have Renee, we talked about that. There's a young Hispanic that lost his life who was a U.S. citizen too. Although they were trying to tell him he wasn't armed or anything, they shot him. They pulled him over on a traffic stop. He was 23 years old. You know, so yeah, they kept that one under wraps. Some news did come out about it, but you know, it's kind of funny when Trump's doing bad stuff. You don't really see it make the news. It's not a big deal on the news because he controls most of the news. I don't know what the hell happened. Reporters used to have some balls on them. They go out and get the meat. They get the good news, and then they report it. They have the facts to back them up. They have their sources. But now it's like all these, you know, a lot of these news corporations are now in Trump's pocket. So they don't care about reporting the truth. You understand? That's how it works. And, you know, I find that sad too. We're in a bad times in the United States. This is a fact. And our democracy is crumbling. And the only thing that's going to save us is every single person that is sick of this shit with Trump goes out to the polls in November and votes the Democratic ticket. I don't need to hear my uncle's version of, oh, the Democrats were socialists. What the hell is a socialist? Are you trying to say that the Democrats cared about poor people and people that needed help? Is that what you're actually trying to say? I mean, Is that it? So we don't want to be concerned with you. And at this point, my uncle is full of shit when he says he's a Christian because he ain't a Christian. He's learned how to manipulate the Bible to suit his means. He quoted a verse at me to follow the law of the land. The Bible says to follow the law of the land, but it's an incomplete verse. And I'll say it like this, it's incomplete because it's follow the law of the land unless the law of the land violates the word of God. So God is the trump card here. And I'm going to make this kind of simple and where you can understand it. So if we pass the law, everybody's seen the movie Purge, right? I hope some of y'all saw the Purges, some of the Purge movies. So we passed a law that says it's okay for one day a year to go out and kill these folks. And, at the end of that 24 hours, you're good. You can go on and home. Well, one of the 10 Commandments says, thou shalt not kill. And even though it's the law of the land, God's law trumps the law of the land, so you don't go out and kill people. But his logic is just that. It's the law of the land. Okay, so we'll even go to the more extremes. We passed a law that says, which is what Trump and all these Trumpsters and all these people in office would like, that you can go out and shoot anybody that's not white. You can go out and shoot anybody that's not heterosexual. And it's completely legal. And you can do this every day of your life for the rest of your life as long as we're in power. Okay. So now we've passed this law. These are just hypothetical, but I want you to understand what law of the land means. This is now the law of the land. Man has made a law that says you can do this, the law of the land. It violates the law of God, where God says, thou shalt not kill. It violates the law of love thy neighbor as thyself. It's the logic. If you read the Bible and use it correctly, it's the logic in, well, no, I can't follow the law of the land if the law of the land is against God's law. But my uncle, he would probably go shooting people and say, oh, it's okay with God because God says I have to follow the law of the land, without actually reading the complete verse where God says, unless it violates God's law. You got it? So I hope everybody understands that a little bit better, of the difference between following God's law, and the law of the land. Because, God's law is the supreme law. It takes precedence over anything men does. And when God says, Jesus said, love the foreigner as you were a foreigner yourself. Love the immigrant as you were an immigrant yourself. God is letting you know that, hey, at one time you were an immigrant. So don't be mad at immigrants because you were an immigrant yourself. And, Jesus himself in the Bible thought that love thy father, which is to love God, and love thy neighbor, which is to love the people around you, were the two most important things in the Bible. But fake Christians, on the other hand, don't believe that. It's whatever Donald Trump says, it's what the law is. And now this stuff that's coming out where they're trying to say, well, Trump, there are some commanders telling the truth is, Trump says this is the catalyst for Armageddon. That Jesus told him, God told him he needs to bring on the end of time. Are we joking? Is that really a joke? Because if that is the case, Trump isn't talking to God, he's talking to the devil, and now Trump is the Antichrist. Think about this. That's exactly what Trump is. I mean, the Bible does talk about the fall of the United States, and if I look at it, we're definitely falling. I mean, Trump has pretty much destroyed the country, and I mean, he's continuing to destroy it. If we're hooked with him for another 3 years, this country will be rubble by the time he's done with it. That's a fact. So right now, I got to be honest. If you see some No King's Day, if you see some protest going on against Iran war, go join them. Raise your voice, do what you got to do. At the end of the day, It's us, the people, us that call the shots. If we are silent, they walk on us. This is a fact. They'll walk all over us if we're silent. And you can't be silent. I mean, I'm not silent. I'm not that popular. If I was popular, you know, Trump and them would probably be eyeballing me pretty heavy. I'm not really popular, but I'm not silent neither. And I don't care if Trump, if I was to get, famous, and I wouldn't care if Trump was eyeballing me anyways. I'll go run for president and piss him off, you know, because I understand right from wrong. That's the whole point. And I don't blur the lines. You're the right and wrong. There's no blurs into it. And that's just how it is. So let's see. Is there anything else I want to cover while I'm talking? I'm trying to think. Well, we could brush over Pam Bondi had to come back from the Senate, and they're probably going to get her for perjury because of all the lies she told when she was being, cross-examined during the Senate meetings before, where they asked her questions and she just avoided answering questions. She has no intention, get this straight, she has no intention of going after anybody that's guilty in the Epstein files, because that means that 2 cabinet members, Donald Trump, and a lot of other her buddies are guilty, and she'd have to persecute them. But she's not there to prosecute them. She's there to keep them out of trouble. And second, there's some stuff that come up that said Pam Bondi, when she was on Epstein Island, was given $500,000, something like that. I just read that today, with her picture and the check and her name on the check from Epstein. So this is other, things to look at, why she's so deep in protecting all of this. Now, someone went through the process of, well, Trump arrested Epstein, so let's run through that real quick. Of course he did. He couldn't leave Epstein out there while he's president. Epstein could turn out information on him and fuck him up. So yes, arrest him, put him in jail, and then have somebody kill him. You ain't got to worry about him speaking out against you, because he had the goods on Donald Trump. He could easily blackmail Donald Trump like Putin does right now. Think about this. But it's okay. We are where we are, and I'm gonna again probably leave this stream, but I'm gonna end this stream with exactly what I said. We, you, me, your neighbor, your mom, your dad, anybody of age, anybody that can vote. We actually have the power for right now. Before they federalize stuff, and once they federalize elections, we're all screwed. Because the only way you're going to know who won is you're never going to know who won, because they're going to always tell you who won, and it's going to be the person they want to win. That's what's going to happen when they federalize elections. Russia has elections, don't worry. They do have elections. It's federalized, though, so when Putin goes and gives out the votes, he'll tell you that he won again. Even if he didn't win, he still won again. And that's it. You can't argue with it. Can't go back and check, can't go back and count it, because they take care of all that. These are the things you have to understand when things like that happen. Mussolini, was one of the original people that did it, and Adolf Hitler was a fan of Mussolini, so he followed suit, and Trump, and Putin followed suit. Now Trump wants to follow suit with Putin. So that's what's pretty much going on. We'll end up in a dictatorship. Now, don't be shocked if you don't get out there and raise your voice, and we end up in a civil war here, to where you have to pick a side, and where you'll be fighting your brother, your cousin, your dad, your uncle, or somebody, because they're on the different side as you. Understand, history has a habit of repeating itself. I think trying to federalize the elections and put everything in Trump's hands would cause a civil war here. I would have to also, pick up some arms myself, unfortunately, because I don't want to live in a dictatorship. I don't want to live in a dictatorship today, tomorrow, or any other day. That's just how it is. I don't know about all of you. But anyways, I want to say hi to all my Bobcat people. See, I'm Texas State, here we go. Eat 'em up cats. But anyways, I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's enjoying spring break because, I know we're all on spring break right now. So, at least we got a little time on our hands. But y'all do. I'm still working, but yeah, we're trying to have a good time. We'll get out and do some full days when this cold, freaky weather that came in today goes away, which is supposed to be here a couple of days and then gone. But, y'all just pay attention to what I'm telling you. Show up and vote. Raise your voice. Be heard. You damn sure don't want to go out with a whimper. You want to go out with a bang. With a bang, everybody hears you going out. With a whimper, nobody hears you. That's just the way it is. And, I'm old and I'm getting older, and, and I realize every day is one step closer to the inevitable of me not being here. It's going to happen to us all. But damn, if I'm going out quietly, I'm not going to go out quietly. I'm going to talk shit about Donald Trump as much as I can. I'll talk shit about all of his administration as much as I can. I'll try to get people to understand how bad things are in this country right now and how we as a whole can fix it. Because we can. It's we the people. You ever heard that saying, we the people of the United States of America? Establish. Either way it goes. Go back and read that. Because, that's it. This country is we the people. It is not Donald Trump and the party. It's we the people. And the more of us that raise our voice, the louder we get, the more people hear us. And it doesn't matter, of course. A true dictator is going to try to shut us up. But at least at that point, we realize exactly what he is. And so does everybody else. And of course, this is where the Republicans, I don't understand it, especially with the Republicans that are sucking Trump's dick. I don't understand it, but this is apparently where they're trying to get us to go. And unfortunately, all these Christians that have got stuff to say, look, this country was not founded on Christianity, so kiss my ass. I am a Christian, but it wasn't founded on Christianity. It was founded on no religion. And the way the Constitution is writ is they support or deny no religion. This was done for a reason. So with let's put the 10 Commandments in school, let's put Bible, God back into the government. First off, God's in the individual hearts, not in the government. The government's never going to be a God. Trump is not a good government, and he's definitely not a good example of Christian. I don't know where people keep thinking he's such a Christian, where God put him somewhere. God didn't put him somewhere, the devil did. If you really think God put him there and you think he's God sent, then we probably are in the end of times. I hate to make that statement. We're probably in the end of times, and he's the fucking Antichrist sitting up there. And apparently you have drank so much of his Kool-Aid, you're going to hell with him. Because he damn sure ain't going to heaven. But here we go rambling on. I'll probably ramble on another 15 minutes. But anyway, again, I love all you guys. Love all my classmates at Texas State. All the Texas State alumni. Like I said, eat 'em up cats. It's time for me to call it a day. Everybody have a good one. Be safe. I'll probably come stream something in a few more days. I'm waiting to see what all happens. And, I got to do I listen to a lot of different stuff to get information. But y'all be safe. Take care. Peace out. And hey, everybody enjoy that spring break. Have a lot of fun. We'll talk at you later.